Good afternoon, Dean Davis, liveweatherblogs.com meteorologist here. Taking a look here at Irene. This is a hurricane tracker. I'm using WDBJ7 at Roanoke's hurricane tracker. This is a interesting tool, and I like it a lot. It's a tool that allows me to zoom in here and do different things. Take a look. This is where the hurricane is currently at this time, and start pulling up towns and cities. This is, you can see it'll be a couple hundred miles away from Jacksonville and Daytona Beach. The official track, okay, is really close to the Outer Banks. Will it make a landfall in the Outer Banks? That's the question. I would think so. This is a matter of 20, maybe 30 miles, and then beyond that, move up good 75 miles off Atlantic City. The problem is here, this is only one run. That's the first thing. Second thing is that this storm is huge. So the tropical storm and hurricane force winds would extend in this whole area. We would look at tropical storm, at least tropical storm force winds in this whole area of Philadelphia, Lakewood, Trenton, Old Bridge, Dover, down through Salisbury, down through Williamsburg, Norfolk. This could be hurricane force winds. Kill Devil Hills, New Bern. This is all going to be hurricane force winds right along the coastline here. Like I said, this is coming really close to Hatteras. I still think it's going to make a landfall. I think, there's been a progression left and right with the models. Yeah, it's still a ways out, and you really can't make a 100% decision on this. And when I throw the models on top of this, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Here's your model data. On top of it, let me pull off the official track here, and you can see the model data. The consensus of most of the models show right off the Outer Banks. Some of the models go right into the Outer Banks, especially this model, which is the GFDL. And you look at the models, most of the models come out through Boston, but this is close enough to give a adverse effect to the whole entire region, and that's something you have to look at. It's one thing that people don't realize when they are looking at it. Another thing is this thing is moving more west than these models are showing right now. This will continuously update and will make it easier to predict. I would not be surprised the westward progression. I know 12Z run, there was a westward progression here, so we'll see what happens. Here's the models overlaid with the actual warm water. You can see where it's warm water is the Gulf Stream here. The warm water all in this area along the Carolina coast, and warm water actually stuck up in New Jersey. We have some warmer water up in New Jersey, so this is conducive to the continuing development, especially here in the Bahama region, and that will continue. Rainfall wise, this would be the forecast coming up here for the hurricane. You can see we're talking about an inch of rain still in Myrtle Beach, 2 inches here in Wilmington, a lot of rain right here along the eastern coastline. Virginia Beach almost 5, almost 7 in Eggs Head, almost 7 in Hatteras. It's like a 1/10 of an inch to 0.2 inch back here in the area of Roanoke, and a lot of this is going to be because we're going to have a digging in trough and the hurricane mixing together. It's going to cause definitely some interesting weather back here, and this yellow and heavy rainfall will move up into the Jersey shoreline also. I'm going to go through the 12Z GFS here, and you can see comes near the area of Florida, right along the Carolina coast. You can see there, right, the Outer Banks are right here. The Outer Banks are going to slam with hurricane force winds. No matter what you look at it, that's going to happen. Progresses further. You get this troughing going on here, which is going to go into the storm. That's going to wrap it up and make it more intense. It's more wind field, higher wind field. And then a northerly movement. New York City, Boston gets slammed as this thing goes drastically away, and that's where we go from there. I'll have to wait for the new Euro to come in to see what Euro has to say. But so Outer Banks, New Jersey, all these areas, the effects, people keep looking at the center of this track, and that's the biggest misconception about hurricanes. You can't look just at the center of the track. Doing that is being complacent. It has a widening wind field. The Outer Banks are going to get hurricane force winds. There's no doubt in my mind about it. New Jersey, I'm going to be bordering hurricane force winds. Long Island, Boston, these areas need to really be paying attention at this current time. Here's the satellite. Beautiful. Buzzsaw looks very symmetrical storm. Great blowing out outflow. No, the inflow and outflow in the storm is very tightening. This is tightening. Like I said, we'll take a look at this motion. One thing I want to show here is here's start. I'm looking at wobble west. This is what you got to watch out for, these wobbles. And if this thing continues a little more west, it would have to make a little bit of a different track, a little bit further inland. So we have to keep watching this. I really don't see that northerly movement at all here. At this point, we have a more of a west-northwest, more of a west heading than a west-northwest heading, and you definitely see deepening eye wall here. See if they do have anything here, radar-wise. No. There's some wind data here up in the Bahamas. These will start maxing out here soon, and we'll see where it goes from there. You see, definitely deepening here as the storm gets stronger. We might get that whole stadium effect look, and that eye is going to be very interesting. Individual model runs. You see this thing comes up towards the Carolinas here, and then progressively goes towards the north. It would have definitely affected New Jersey, Delaware, and all those areas. Like I said, this is the GFS. ECMWF, same consensus. Outer Banks, New Jersey, New York City, same. Or H-Wharf model. You see it comes into the Bahamas, makes that northerly turn, goes within 20 miles, 30 miles of the Cape Hatteras area, affects New York City, affects New Jersey, it affects Delaware, and then inland. One thing you'll notice, you got these boxes now here. What are these boxes? There's tropical storm warnings now in effect. Tropical storm watches along the coastline, but tropical storm warnings for especially the coastal waters off of Florida. So there is tropical storm advisories now off of Florida. That's a new development just here in a few minutes. So definitely keep an eye on that. Don't go out on your boats. That's just common sense. Tropical system coming, and that's what you have to do. That. Here's your idea for your models. The colors, just to let you know. Stay with liveweatherblogs.com for all your latest weather information. We'll keep you updated on this ever-changing situation with Hurricane Irene. For liveweatherblogs.com, meteorologist Dean Davison, thank you and have a great day. And I'll have an update later this afternoon.